Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, offering seasonal nonstop service to Denver. Outdoor concerts, hiking, and more activities in the Mile High City are one flight away on Frontier Airlines. Close, convenient, Sierra. More at CIRA.com.
McLean County government wants to give people another avenue for getting clean from substance abuse. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Tuesday, August 6th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with a story about McLean County's opioid prevention efforts. Here's reporter Melissa Ellen.
McLean County wants to give residents another avenue for getting clean from substances. The idea is to reintroduce a program from around 5 years ago called Safe Passages. Director of Behavioral Health Coordination Marita Landreth explains how it worked at the time.
If you are someone who uses drugs and you're like, I can't do it, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore, you can go to your local police station, give them all your stuff, not get arrested or prosecuted, and those police officers will help you to get into treatment.
Landreth says the premise remains the same, but the focus would shift away from immediately finding treatment. Instead, she says law enforcement would look to connect people with a caseworker.
It's someone that's going to kind of be an emergency sponsor for that person in a way.
Landreth adds that Bloomington Normal has more behavioral health service providers than rural parts of the county.
I do not think it would be very common for someone in the Bloomington Normal area to go to the police station to say that I'm done. There's many places that they can call and say, I need help, please help me.
Rural areas may only have police stations to turn to. Landreth says that's part of the reason a Safe Passages program is so important. For The Leadoff, I'm Melissa Ellen.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. The McLean County Board of Health is looking to area health nonprofits for proposals on how it should help budget the $1.8 million it intends to set aside for mental health and substance abuse initiatives in 2025. The state and university partners will implement a secure firearm safety storage program in 55 community health centers across the state. The program will offer free cable locks to gun owners and then study how clinicians talk to parents about firearm storage, especially in low-income communities. And the new Bloomington Bison hockey team is looking for a mascot for its inaugural hockey season. Team officials say they're looking for several candidates to play that role, and that skating experience is encouraged but not required. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. Since her death almost a month ago, the family of Sonya Massey has been pushing for major police reform. Massey was killed by then-Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson at her Springfield home. Massey's family believes Grayson never should have been given a badge and a gun by the Sangamon County Sheriff, and they say the tragedy exposed holes in current policy. But as Mawa Iqbal reports, their push for a new state law is being met with some doubt.
Doris Turner says the Masseys are like her family. And about a week before the shooting, Sonya and her mom were at Turner's house, sitting and talking on the porch.
Sonya was a very petite woman, quiet, soft-spoken, just very, very friendly, not combative at all. When her cousin called me early that morning to tell me what happened, I just couldn't believe it, because this is something that you read about, you hear about on the news that happens, not in your community.
Grayson shot Massey after she called 911 for help. Sangamon County was his 6th law enforcement post in 4 years. Immediately after the killing, Massey's family started calling for changes in the law that would prevent officers from bouncing between departments like Grayson had. At Sonya's funeral, her father, James Wilburn, addressed Senator Turner directly.
Illinois can be #1 state senator. Introduce the bill tomorrow. That when you are, in lieu of being fired from a police department, you don't go on to the next one.
But despite her sadness and frustration about the killing, Turner isn't sure a new state law is necessary.
Before we file any new legislation, we always look at what's currently on the books. Been looking closely at the Safety Act.
Right before Turner joined the General Assembly in 2021, Democratic state lawmakers passed the Safety Act. As part of its sweeping criminal justice reforms, the law expanded the avenues for decertifying law enforcement officers. It's called discretionary decertification. But Loyola University professor Art Lorigio says the law is still unclear on what kinds of misconduct, or how much, should disqualify a police officer from working in Illinois.
This is a pretty broad area with some vagueness, I'm afraid. Numbers of police officers decertified is probably pretty small overall from year to year.
The Chicago nonprofit Impact for Equity found that as of April of this year, not a single officer had been discretionally decertified since the Safety Act was passed 3 years ago. Lorigio says because of this, officers like Grayson, who have questionable records but no criminal convictions, are still able to hop from one department to another.
It's remarkable to me that if someone had a history of misconduct in other police departments, that the police in Springfield found him to be a suitable candidate for hire.
Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell has defended his decision to hire Grayson, and in a statement, he says they did not receive any information about Grayson's misbehavior at his previous stops. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul says based on his record, it's questionable whether Grayson should have ever been hired as a law enforcement officer. But like Turner, he's not certain a new law is needed. He says the problem is not the laws on the books right now. It's just in how they're getting implemented.
There are hundreds of law enforcement departments within the state of Illinois, and they're not all the same.
The Massey family says in a meeting with Governor J.B. Pritzker and Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, Pritzker promised to sign a police reform bill named after Sonya Massey. Pritzker and Stratton's offices said they would not comment on what they called private conversations. I'm Mawa Iqbal.
Before we let you go, the McLean County Board's Transportation, Land Use and Development, and Justice Committees all meet today. On the Justice agenda at 4:30 is approval of grant money to fund translation services and other improvements at the courthouse. And that's it for today. I'm Ryan Denham. The show is produced by Rosalie Truback. You can subscribe to The Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.